Hi, I'm Bridget, and thank you so much for joining me today for day 22 of 30 days of 10 minutes of yoga. And we're going to get started today in our yogi squat. So you might like to come to a forward fold first. Walk the feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart. We'll turn the toes out at about a 45-degree angle and then sink the hips down. We'll bring the hands together at heart space and then use the elbows to press the knees open, getting really nice and tall through the spine. We'll close down the eyes and reconnect with the breath. So breathing deeply, taking a nice big inhale in through the nose. Exhale, maybe let it out through the mouth. 2 more breaths, just like that. Exhale, let it go. We'll let the shoulders drop away from the ears, nice and long through the neck. Keeping that connection with the breath. We're going to try and stay connected with the breath throughout our practice today. And then when you're ready, we're going to make our way into our forward fold. We're going to keep the feet a little bit wider than hip width distance apart today. So just bring the palms down to the mat and then press to lift the hips up as you turn the toes to point forward. So feet are a little bit wider than hip width distance apart. You might even like to walk them heel toe a little bit wider apart. And then bend through the knees, hinge at the hips, and round forward through the upper body. Letting the upper body get really nice and heavy here. Letting the fingertips rest down towards the mat. Shake the head, yes. And shake it, no. Might like to clasp opposite elbows here. Go for a little sway from side to side. Give those knees an extra little bend here, releasing through the spine. You can let the shoulders get really nice and heavy. And then we're going to lift up halfway. So just coming up onto the fingertips, we hinge at the hips, flatten out through the spine, draw the shoulders away from the ears. And from here, we're going to heel toe, the feet are even wider into our wide-legged stance. On an exhale, we're going to come back to that forward fold. So let the head relax down towards the mat. Just resting on the fingertips. You might even like to clasp the hands together at the lower back and then reach the hands up and over, drawing the hands down towards the earth. Breathing deeply here. Pressing down into the feet. And then we'll release the arms, bringing the hands back to the mat if they're not there already. And we're going to press to lift up halfway again here. We're going to find a little bit of a twist. So let's plant the right palm in the center of our mat. Inhale, we're going to reach the left hand up towards the sky. See if you can flatten out through the hips here. So you might notice that that left hip wants to start to lift up. We're going to keep it drawing down, twisting through the shoulders and the upper back. Maybe looking up. And then exhale, we'll bring that left hand back down to the mat. Take it to the other side. So bringing that left hand to the center. Inhale, we'll reach that right hand up towards the sky. Flatten out through the hips and press that right shoulder back. Taking a nice deep breath here. And then exhale, we'll bring that right hand back to the mat. We're going to make our way to our Skandasana. So draw the heels in and turn the toes out. On an exhale, we're going to bend into that right knee and send those left toes up towards the sky. Bring the hands together at heart space and press that right knee open. Reconnecting with the breath here. Breathing into the legs. We're nice and tall through the spine. Shoulders are away from the ears. Nice and long through the neck. And then we're going to sink the hips all the way down to the mat. So you can just sit down onto the hips, keep the legs where they are. We're going to take a hold of the right heel with our left hand and then inhale up and over with the right arm, reaching over towards that left foot. This should feel like a really nice stretch through the right side body. And then we'll come back into our Skandasana. So coming back to that nice long spine, we'll bring the hands back to our mat and lift our hips away from the mat. Inhale, we're going to come back to center, back to that wide-legged forward fold. And on an exhale, bend into the left knee. We send the right toes up towards the sky. Bring the hands together at heart space. We press that left knee open with the left elbow. Nice and tall through the spine, opening up through the legs. Find the breath here. And then let's sink the hips all the way down to the mat. Legs stay where they are. We're going to take a hold of the left ankle this time with the right hand. And then inhale with the left hand reaching up and over towards the right foot. Nice side body stretch, nice opening. See if you can draw that left shoulder back. Breathing deeply. Maybe closing down the eyes. And then exhale, we'll come back to that nice long spine. Plant the palms, we lift the hips away from our mat. And inhale, we come back to our wide-legged forward fold. We're going to heel toe, walk the feet a little bit closer together, just a little bit wider than hip width distance. And then turn the toes out. We'll sink the hips down, come back to that yogi squat. Press the knees open with the elbows. Bring the hands back together at heart space. Reconnect with the breath. And then we're going to make our way all the way to seated. So just sink the hips down. Come back through seated. We're going to make our way back to lie down and we'll find our bridge pose when we get there. So lying down with the knees bent, we're going to bring the feet in really nice and close to the glutes here. Pressing down into the palms are right next to the hips. We're going to slowly see if we can roll up through the spine. So tucking the tailbone up, we're going to press the hips away from our mat, nice and strong through the legs. Rolling up through the spine, lifting the chest. When you get to this point, you might like to interlace the hands underneath you. Draw the shoulders underneath you, so squeezing them together, coming up onto the shoulders, and then pressing the chest towards the head. So pressing the chest away from the legs. Really strong through the legs here, lifting the hips. Tucking the tailbone under here. Nice and strong through the arms. And then really nice and slowly we'll roll it back down. So coming back down onto the upper back. Rolling down through the spine, let the hips come down last. And then we'll make our way into our savasana, so sending the legs out nice and long, hands by either side, palms facing up. Closing down the eyes. Starting to get really heavy through the body. Enjoying this moment of stillness in your shavasana. Becoming really present in this moment. So just bringing the attention to the breath. And then just being there with the breath as it passes. And you can stay here in your Shavasana for as long as you would like to. Or if you're ready to close your practice with me, we'll start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Rock the head from side to side, bending into the knees, and rolling onto one side, gently making your way back up to seated. Take your time to get there. Find a moment of stillness, closing down the eyes. Taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, let it out through the nose. And we'll close our practice by taking a nice deep breath together, inhaling the hands up and overhead, bringing the palms together and exhaling the hands down to heart space, bowing through the head. The light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste.